Start the prayers.
श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे। उन्मत्तनटनताण्डवं मत्ते भवदनभासुरं चित्ताब्जबोधभास्करम् आयत्तयोगराजितं विद्वेषनित्यपूजितम् उत्तानपाणिमुद्रितं श्रीकृत्तिवाससुतं कैलासदृशदिनर्तनं भक्तान्तरङ्गवर्तनं पापौघपाशकर्तनं श्रीपार्वतीसुतं भजे। श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे। लम्बोदराङ्गताण्डवं मुद्राकराब्जपण्डितं सर्वाङ्गनागमण्डनं वन्दे विनायकं पतिम्। धिं धिम्मितकिटमर्दलं भं भं निनादशङ्खकम् आनन्दनृत्यतत्परं ध्यायामि प्रमथनायकम्। आमोदकरमोदकं वेदान्तमतिमादकं दुष्कर्मफलसाधकं विघ्नेश्वरं गुरुं भजे। श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे। सृष्टिस्थितिलयकारणं मोक्षाख्यदैत्यमारणं संसारजलधितारणं स्तौमि प्रभो नरवारणं। पञ्चास्यमादिदैवतं देवऋषिभिः समर्चितम् आलोकगलितसञ्चितं विघ्नाधिनाथमाश्रये। श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे। लोकैकपरमवैभवं लोकेश्वरादिसम्भवम् आलोकपरिहृतोद्भवम् आलोकये परं भवम्। श्रीकृष्णकविनिवेदितैः श्लोकाख्यमोदकैरिमैः आनन्दगणपतिं पतिम् आराधयन्तु साधकाः। श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे, 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 श्रीदत्तगणपतिं भजे।
ॐ परब्रह्मसमारम्भां श्रीदत्तात्रेयमध्यमाम् श्रीदत्तस्वामिपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् सर्वविश्वन्यस्तपादपद्मायते वामहस्तालोलवेदशास्त्रायते ज्ञानसूर्यायते दत्तरूपायते श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् श्रीवेणुगोपालकृष्णाय वन्दनम् गुरुदत्त श्रीदत्त प्रभुदत्त पाहि माम् विधिदत्त हरिदत्त हरदत्त रक्ष माम् पाहि मां दत्ता रक्ष मां दत्ता।
Padanamaskaram Swamiji. With salutations at the lotus feet of Shri Datta Swami, let us begin the Satsang. We will go through some question answers today. I offer this dedication at the lotus feet of Swamiji. From you alone is all knowledge sublime, and everything that's great and fine. All the ignorance and error are but mine, for I am just a soul, and you the goal divine. Trusting your compassion benign, your errant service, my errant service I yet consign to those holy lotus feet of thine, Shri Datta Swami, my Sadguru trine. Today we will take up this set of questions, which is dated March 18th, 2026. The first question is asked by Srimati Lakshmi Lavanya. She asked, Namaste Swami, you talked about the evil eye. If I feel that the jealousy is because I am able to live so peacefully because of the miracles happening in my life due to my faith in God, will I still get the result of that evil eye? Many people around me judge me as not being what they like, not being under their control, and everything going wrong in my life. I will accept whatever they say as long as it is in accordance with my Swami's knowledge. No one has the right to judge or control me except Swami. If I have to cry, I told them that I will enjoy that crying. A few days later, to everyone's surprise, orders came from the higher officials to reverse the actions they thought they should take on me and made them work in my favor. Their jealousy towards me continues to grow. My colleague, who was friendly with me for 15 years, ended her friendship with me after hearing other people's words. I was sad for 2 days. Then I concluded that whatever you did was the best for me. How to get rid of this jealousy? So the idea is that the evil eye, which was discussed in a previous question answer, is the result of people's jealousy. When you do something to show off in front of others, it evokes jealousy in the minds of others. They feel hurt, they feel pained when you show off something that you have. And as a result, that jealousy causes God to punish you. They feel jealous about you, they feel pained, and there is a good reason for them to feel hurt because you have been showing off, and therefore God punishes you. And that punishment is the evil eye. So you say that that person had an evil eye upon me and that is why I got some punishment. The reality is that you did something to show off or to hurt the other person, and that person then wishes that some harm may come to you, and God grants that wish. So that is the punishment that you receive. So here, Srimati Lakshmi Lavanya is asking whether, I mean, how to get rid of the jealousy, because the jealousy of the colleagues continues to grow despite their trying to harm her. Somehow, due to God's grace, she was protected, but their jealousy doesn't stop. So Swami replied, the evil eye is not based on the power of others. Since you made them suffer by exposing your new clothes, jewels, etc., instead of following a simple way of life, you have become sinful. So the cause for their suffering is your exposure. Jealousy can be eradicated completely if you think that the merits of others do not belong to those souls, but that they belong to God. So this is a general lesson that we all have to learn, that we may have some good things in life. These are all gifts from God. God has blessed us with certain things. It does not mean we were very deserving of that. It only means that God is very compassionate and He gave some good things to us. Just because He has given some good things to us, there is no need to exhibit them, flaunt them before others. If you do that, they feel pained. And that pain causes their jealous behavior towards us. So the evil eye is really not based on their power, but it is a punishment given to us so that we may be humble and be simple. Now, how to, once jealousy comes up in a person's mind, how can that jealousy be removed? It can be removed only by realizing that whatever is good and great about the other soul is not inherent to that soul. It is the result of a gift of God. So the merits of others do not belong to them. They are gifts of God. They belong to God. They are presently with the other person. Tomorrow they might be taken away by God. So why should we be jealous of the other person? Next question is asked by Ms. Bhanu Samaikya. The brief question is, if spiritual knowledge is like the fire that burns ignorance, why did Ravana fail to reform? Her detailed question is, Pada Namaskaram Swami, you have said that spiritual knowledge is like the fire that burns ignorance. But in one discourse, which he has quoted, you have said that even though Ravana was a great scholar in the 4 Vedas and the 6 Shastras, and that is 10 heads represent these 10 scriptures, 4 Vedas plus 6 Shastras makes it 10, and his 10 heads represent these 10 scriptures. Despite knowing all that, he was still ignorant. According to this statement, it seems like spiritual knowledge failed to reform him and did not stop him from becoming a demon. How is this possible, Swami? At your divine lotus feet, Bhanu Samaikya. Swami replied, I wonder how you do not understand this simple medical concept, being a doctor. Simply eating food does not give energy to you. Shravanam is the listening of knowledge, or you can even say reading of knowledge. Shravanam means to hear. In olden days, divine knowledge, spiritual knowledge, or any knowledge for that matter used to be heard, because printing books and printing technology was not there. So the primary source of learning any knowledge was listening to that knowledge from the guru, from the teacher or the preacher. But just because you listen to that knowledge doesn't mean that you have understood it. Just as Simply eating food does not give energy to you. It is the digestion of the eaten food alone that gives energy to the body. Ravana had simply eaten spiritual knowledge, but he could not digest it. Digestion means continuously remembering the concepts so that they get printed in the faculty of memory. This constant remembrance, repeatedly thinking of the concept that is learned, revising that concept through discussion, not just merely repeating it multiple times, but in engaging with that concept, discussing the pros and cons, discussing the various aspects of it. You may discuss it outward with a friend, or ideally with the Sadguru, to revise those concepts to understand deeper layers of that concept. Or you could, even in your mind, you could analyze. So that that remembrance, the analysis, the discussion, all that comes under mananam. And that mananam leads to that concept getting imprinted in your mind. So it becomes part of your memory. This printing of concepts in the memory is called nididhyasa. When you do mananam, that is the constant remembrance and analysis and discussion, it leads to nididhyasa, that is the imprinting of that concept in your memory. For the digestion of food, the digestive system should be perfect. It means that your mental setup, here food is an analogy, eating and digesting food is an analogy for learning spiritual knowledge, then repeatedly analyzing it until it gets imprinted in your mind. So for the digestion of food, the digestive system should be perfect. It means that your mental setup, that is the powerful thoughts acquired from previous births, must be perfectly good. The digestive enzymes must also be proper, which are your present friendly associations, your Sangha. If your Sangha, or the company that you keep, they say a man is known by the company he keeps. Who are the people you associate with? That is very important. If you associate with good people, people who will motivate you to learn spiritual knowledge, people who do not have bad habits, they are called Satsanga. Sangha means association or company, and Satsanga means good Sangha, good company, company that is conducive to learning spiritual knowledge. And Dussanga means having bad company. So the Sangha that you have is similar to the digestive enzymes. Unless you have good digestive enzymes, unless your digestive system is working properly, you will not be able to digest the food. Unless you have good company who will always encourage you to learn more, who will possibly clarify some of your doubts, or at least motivate you to inquire deeper into the concepts that you are learning, you will not learn properly. So one thing is that the digestive system should be perfect. It means that your mental setup, the powerful thoughts acquired from previous births, must be perfectly good. See, one should have a proper mental disposition, a proper mental setup. The mental setup means the samskaras from the past birth. If in previous births you have always been associated with spiritual knowledge, with spiritual masters, with good people, with people following the rules of justice, then your mental setup is good. If a good concept in knowledge is given to you, you will be able to receive it properly in a positive way for your own improvement. On the other hand, if you have always in the previous births associated with the wrong kind of people, if you have entertained lots of negative thoughts, thoughts that are directed towards selfish enjoyment, thoughts that are directed away from the rules of justice as given by God, then your mental setup is not favorable. Even if a good concept is told to you in the present birth, you are likely to misinterpret it. You're likely to take it in a negative way. When something good is told to you, you will misunderstand. You will instead think of it as someone trying to control you. Suppose you advise this, you can quite easily see even when you are talking to some children, maybe in the uh, high school age group. You try to tell a child something that is good for the child with all good intention. One child may accept it. One child may thank you, saying that, oh, thank you so much for telling me. I wish I had known that earlier. I would have practiced it. That's the nature of one child. And then there is another child. You tell the same thing to that child, but the child totally misinterprets it. The child gets aggressive and says, who the hell are you to tell me? I know what is right. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to control me. Or something like that. So you see that the mental setup of the first child and the second child is a vast difference. This comes from the previous birth. Yes, some of it could have come due to some experiences that the two children have had in their present life. But how long really is their present life? They are just probably 10, 12-year olds, or maybe 14, 15 years of age. So in that short period of time, they actually have not had too many good or bad experiences. But the strong reactions that they give to your advice, which is the same in both cases, makes you realize that the reaction is coming not only from the present birth, but probably from previous births. So what is required for the effective imprinting of divine knowledge in your mind is a proper mental setup which is carried forward from previous births and good company in the present birth, good associations in the present birth. So learning knowledge is far more complex than you have imagined. The same knowledge is given by the Sadguru to 1,000 devotees. Do all of them become Vivekanandas? Do all of them become Miras? No. A very rare, one rare soul may become that. Swamiji has given this example that there is a belief that um, these oyster shells, yes, these seashells, oysters. The oyster is the animal which lives in that seashell. Now, the oyster shell, when a raindrop falls in the oyster shell, it becomes a pearl. Scientifically, that's not accurate, but that is the belief. So rain falls all over the earth equally. One raindrop may fall in the sand and it turns to mud. Another raindrop falls in the salty ocean and it becomes salty. But one raindrop falls in the oyster shell and it becomes a pearl. So the knowledge given by the Sadguru is equally pure. Like rainwater is always pure. So the raindrops that are falling everywhere are equally pure. But it is the receiver which decides the outcome. So this is very important. The Shravanam is very important. You should definitely go to the Sadguru and listen to the knowledge. If you do not even listen to the knowledge, there is no hope of reformation. But the story doesn't end there. You should then remember that knowledge, analyze it, discuss it repeatedly. If you do that, there is a possibility that it will get imprinted in your mind. But in order to get imprinted on your mind in the right way, Two more factors are necessary. One is the mental setup, and the second is the association, the company that you keep in the present birth. That was an excellent insight given by Swamiji. That is why it is very important. Even the small things in life are very important. When Swamiji is giving a satsanga, if you are fortunate to be in Hyderabad where Swamiji is and listen to him in person, that is very important, extremely important. One should make the time to be in his presence and listen to the satsanga. If you are not in Hyderabad or for some reason you are unable to go there in person, those satsangas are broadcast live. Listen to those live broadcasts. It is immaterial whether you are physically close to him or physically away from him. As long as you are mentally 100% there, mentally you should not be distracted. That is the first step of Shravana. If you receive that knowledge well, at least you listen to that knowledge well, there is a possibility that you will remember it. But a conscious effort to remember is necessary. That is why whenever we sit to listen to a satsanga, we should have a notebook with us. In the notebook, you can make small notes, just brief points, because the recording is available anyway. You can again watch it. You should watch it again and again. But it is also good, even while listening, to make some brief notes, a few words, few keywords here and there. It will help you recall those key concepts. Later on, when you listen to the satsanga recording, you can make more detailed notes. Rather than simply listening to the satsanga in a passive way, in which case you are going to forget whatever you have heard within the next couple of days. There is good research available which says that whatever you listen in a passive way is maybe more than 90% of it is lost in the next couple of days. Because we get distracted. There are so many things happening in our life. So we forget. One of the ways of not forgetting it is to make notes, to listen to the recording once more, at least once more. And then when you have those points written down, you can try to analyze them, discuss with others. When a certain question arises in your discussions, ask that question again to Swamiji to get clarity on it. When you go through this process repeatedly, the correct concept will emerge. What you heard initially is the correct concept, but your understanding was not correct. So through repeated discussion, you are fine-tuning, refining your own understanding. And that distilled out final understanding is to be imprinted in your mind, which happens very effectively when you are involved in the manner that I just explained. But of course, you must maintain good company, because if you maintain the wrong company, if you keep bad company, they will essentially destroy your motivation to study spiritual knowledge. They will tell you, अरे छोड़ यार ये सब क्या फालतू फालतू की बात है, बुढ़े होने के बाद करो, अभी जवानी में थोड़े करोगे. They'll say all sorts of things, these are things that only old people ought to do, not young people. You are young, enjoy life. So many things. So that will distract you from the path. So it's important to keep good company. If there is anybody who tells you this, stay away from such people. They are not good for you. They don't know what is good for themselves, let alone guiding you. So if you stay on track like that, then the correct concepts, the most valuable concepts in spiritual knowledge will get imprinted in your mind. And that makes all the difference. That imprinted concept remains in your mind eternally. Please remember this very important concept. It can never be erased. A good concept, when it is imprinted in your mind, And when it is repeatedly strengthened by revising it, by analyzing it, by discussing it again and again, when a good concept belonging to the divine knowledge given by God, the divine knowledge given by God contains many different concepts. Such diamond-like precious concepts, when they get imprinted in your mind firmly, when they are strengthened by you again and again by repeatedly discussing them with the Sadguru, with devotees, by analyzing it in your mind and all, it can never be deleted from your mind. Sometimes in life you may go on the wrong track, but those precious diamond-like concepts will shine one day, even though you walk along a very dark path in your life. But one day, that shining diamond in your mind will give you direction. It will lead you back to the right path. So don't underestimate the effort put in the right direction on the spiritual path. Trying to understand even one concept is the greatest service that you can do for yourself. It is your insurance against going astray. Everybody has the tendency to go astray. Even though we may momentarily go off the track, it is these concepts which will pull you back. They remain in your mind eternally. So it's very important to inculcate them. Next question. This is also by Srimati Lakshmi Lavanya. Why did Swami not accept a female devotee who approached him to solve her issue of unsatisfied sexual desires? A detailed question. Swami, based on the recent incident, one of your devotees asked, open quotes, when the whole purpose of the rasa dance done by God Krishna is to attract the females in dushpravritti towards God, so that God can satisfy them using his illusory forms and encourage them towards learning the spiritual knowledge, why did Swami not welcome a female devotee who wanted to approach the contemporary Krishna to resolve her issue of unsatisfied sexual desires? Why did Swami reply to her harshly? Close quotes. So if through the path of Madhura Bhakti, the path of Madhura Bhakti is essentially enabled by God. It is this path of Madhura Bhakti is opened by God. It was not his invention, but he has allowed it. What is this path of Madhura Bhakti? That female devotees who have lustful intentions can get attracted to him, and then he can satisfy them through his illusory forms, although not directly, but he can satisfy them through that. They strengthen their bond with him, and once that bond is strengthened, he will gradually reform them and he will take them to the highest spiritual goal. So when this facility was given by Lord Krishna to the Gopikas, why did Swami reject the advances of a recent devotee? Why did he reject her? Swami replied, it is a fake case. Swami is also omniscient and omnipotent. Swami is also the omniscient and omnipotent God. I'm sorry. Swami is also omniscient, since the omniscient God merged with him. This is a trick played by a close devotee of Swami to test Swami. So firstly, in the question, there was the assertion that when a devotee who is lustful approaches God, he satisfies her unsatisfied desires through his illusory forms. Firstly, that is not the norm. He does not usually do it. It might be done in an exceptional situation. In other words, if that devotee will refuse to reform unless her sexual desires are satisfied, her illegitimate sexual desires are satisfied, he may do that. He is omnipotent and he has the capability of doing it. It doesn't mean that that is the usual procedure, that for every devotee who approaches him with sexual desire, he is necessarily going to satisfy her. That is not at all the approach of Madhura Bhakti. In Madhura Bhakti, the whole idea is to help the devotee get rid of that illegitimate sexual desire. And in fact, to get rid of sexual desire altogether in the final stage, at least to begin with, to get rid of illegitimate sexual desire and maintain sexual desire in a justified bond, that is, a justified married husband-wife kind of bond. That is the first level, which is the journey from dushpravrutti to pravrutti. And in the second part of the journey, to even get rid of that fascination for sex altogether. So Madhura Bhakti is the path in which sexual desire is to be given up. One has to rise above sexual desire. It is not a path in which sexual desire is to be satisfied by God. First point. Then the second point that Swamiji is saying, the main thing is that this case was not a genuine case. It was a fake case. It was a close devotee played a trick to test Swami. So in that, Swami clearly rejected that devotee's advance, so that his purity is established. The purity of God, the purity of the incarnation of God is established. The fact is established that he was never and will never be interested in any devotee in a romantic way. How did Swami come to know that it was a fake case? Because he is omniscient. The omniscient God Datta has merged with him. So Swami is omniscient, and that is why he came to know that it was not a genuine case. Even if it were a genuine case, it was not necessary to satisfy the sexual desire of any devotee. Next question. Why did Swami reveal now that God Krishna had only created his illusory forms in the romantic rasa dance? A detailed question. When God Krishna conducted the rasa dance in Vrindavanam for the sake of encouraging lustful devotees in the Kali age to divert themselves towards God and learn spiritual knowledge, the Arthavada, or the beneficial lie that God himself romanced with the devoted souls, must be sustained throughout the Kali age without revealing the truth that God created his illusory forms. This truth definitely discourages devotees from entering into sweet devotion itself. Why did Swami reveal it now? So if the purpose of conducting the rasa dance was that the rasa dance serves as a lesson for devotees, what is the lesson to be learned? The lesson is to be learned is, if you have sexual desires that you cannot control, you divert them towards God, and he will lead you to your liberation. That is the lesson that should be learned. If you cannot control your sexual desire, instead of trying to satisfy your sexual desire by having an illegitimate lover, divert it to God, and he will grant you liberation. That is the lesson that was to be learned. In that, the assumption is that God will romance with you. That is the assumption that the devotee makes. It's not a true assumption, because Lord Krishna himself never romanced with the gopikas. His illusory forms, he created illusory forms who romanced with the gopikas. And that too, it appeared as though the illusory forms of Krishna were romancing with the gopikas. Even the illusory forms of the gopikas did not actually romance with the gopikas. So the effectiveness of this technique is based on devotees making the wrong assumption. Devotees should make the wrong assumption that God himself will romance with me. With that attraction, they will approach God. If they are told the truth that God is not going to romance with you, if at all any romance is going to happen, it will be between you and an illusory form of God, then they will get discouraged. If they are discouraged, then they cannot use this path of Madhura Bhakti to reach their reformation and ultimate salvation. So why did Swami reveal it? Swami replied, Swami is Jnana Mohini. The beauty of his spiritual knowledge is unimaginable, and he can do the same work with the help of his wonderful spiritual knowledge. The above method has become defective since the standards of the Kali age are on the minus side and not simply low on the positive side. Swami says that he is Jnana Mohini, meaning through his wonderful knowledge, he can enchant the whole world. So he is the knowledge enchantress. The knowledge enchantress means Jnana Mohini. The beauty of his spiritual knowledge is unimaginable. And what reformation and salvation can be achieved through the path of Madhura Bhakti, that is romantic devotion, the path of romantic devotion, that same work he is capable of doing with his wonderful spiritual knowledge. Madhura Bhakti is based on the female devotee getting physically attracted to his beautiful form, to his external form. That same purpose can be fulfilled when the devotee gets attracted to the beautiful form of his divine knowledge, his unimaginable, wonderful spiritual knowledge. That has attractive power, which is in fact more powerful than the physical attraction of the body. Moreover, this attractive power of his knowledge applies to both male and female devotees. At least the physical form, because he is in a male incarnation, that is relevant only to the female devotees. But the wonderful form of his divine knowledge, which is so attractive, it will attract both male and female devotees. Then Swami further says that the above method meaning the method of Madhura Bhakti, of attracting devotees to his physical form initially to ensure their reformation and salvation, that method has become defective because the standards of the Kali age have become extremely low. What is meant by what he means by extremely low is they have gone to the negative side. So you have negative numbers and then zero, which is neutral, and then you have positive numbers. So it is not like it is plus 100 would be highly positive, and plus 1, plus 2, these are positive, but they are very low. So it is not that we are at plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. We are not over there. We have gone to negative 100. That is how bad the standards of the present Kali age are. So Swami says, you are correct to say that if the secret of the illusory forms is revealed, the above process will get disturbed. If not revealed, Swami will be misunderstood. And this is what happened with God Krishna. Krishna did not say that my illusory forms are dancing with you. He did not announce it to the world. Even when Veda Vyasa wrote the Bhagavatam, he did not announce it to the world that Krishna did not dance with the Gopikas. It was duplicate illusory forms of Krishna which were dancing. He did not write that. So for the world, this concept of the illusory Krishnas was kept hidden. Because it was kept hidden, people started misunderstanding Krishna. In fact, in that very generation, Parikshit, well, maybe the next generation, Parikshit misunderstood Krishna. And he questioned sage Shuka as to how Krishna could dance with the married gopikas. In earlier ages, even devotees in Dushpravritti had a lot of patience to wait for the practical response from the other side. This gap time was used by God to preach spiritual knowledge. So let us say a female devotee is lustfully interested in Krishna. Her intention is lustful, but at least, so since her intention is lustful, she is obviously on the path of Dushpravritti. Dushpravritti is the path of injustice. But even a person belonging to the path of injustice in olden days had some patience. So this lady, even though she has lustful thoughts towards Krishna, at least she would be patient and she would wait for some time. She would not demand immediate gratification. She would not insist that Krishna be with her immediately. She will maintain her lustful thoughts and wait for some time patiently. And during that period, Krishna has the opportunity to teach her some spiritual knowledge and reform her. When she is reformed, she will give up her lustful thoughts. This possibility existed in olden times because even the Dushpravritti people had a little amount of patience. Today, in this Kali age, Dushpravritti souls have no patience at all. Unless a practical response is given immediately, devotees do not have the patience to listen to and digest spiritual knowledge. In the early ages, devotees even sacrificed justice for the sake of God. But they did so only when God himself conducted the test. Now, devotees themselves decide to cross justice to get some selfish pleasure from God. They do not merely think of leaving one human being as their romantic partner for another human being. That is only a limited variety in their selfish pleasure. I'll explain this before we go ahead. So, in the present Kali age, Dushpravritti souls don't have any patience. If a woman devotee has lustful thoughts towards the incarnation, she will expect him to satisfy her immediately. She will not have the patience to listen to what he is saying. He might be wanting to preach some spiritual knowledge to her so that she can re-evaluate her lustful feelings and perhaps correct her lustful feelings, give up the lustful feelings. That can only happen if she analyzes the spiritual knowledge that he is trying to give. But the devotees of today have zero patience. They want immediate gratification. So this path is not suitable for them. In earlier ages, when a devotee wishes to approach the incarnation in a lustful manner, that is a violation of justice. They were willing to violate justice if God asked them for it. Meaning, when God tests their devotion, they are willing to sacrifice justice, they are willing to cross justice and reach him. That is fine. But the devotees of today, they do not care at all about justice. They themselves will cross justice. To satisfy what? Satisfy their own selfish pleasure. Not because in olden days, devotees were ready to sacrifice justice for the sake of God. When God asks them, they were ready to sacrifice justice. As such, on their own, they would never sacrifice justice. What are the people of today doing? They are willing to sacrifice justice. Even though God is not trying to test them, they themselves are eager to sacrifice justice. So that is a huge difference. They want our moral fabric is so weak, men and women, both. No partiality there. Both of us, men and women, have such a weak moral fabric that we want to enjoy with another partner. You already have one partner, one legitimate married life partner, but you are not satisfied with one partner. You want to enjoy with someone else just for the sake of variety. Nobody's forcing you, just for the sake of variety. But you're not happy with that much variety also, because the other fellow is also a human being. Your illegitimate lover is also a human being. So between you are leaving your legitimate married husband or wife to be with the illegitimate partner, but both partners, the legitimate one and the illegitimate one, are human beings. That is only a small variety. The people of Kali age are more ambitious. They don't want this small variety in their sexual life. They want the highest possible variety. What is the highest possible variety? You have romance with God. God and human and the soul, they are complete opposites. So the contrast or the variety is maximum. Between one human being and another human being, the variety is very small. Between one human being and God, there is an extreme amount of contrast, extreme variety. And so the people of the Kali age, they are not satisfied with enjoying with their legitimate life partner or an illegitimate human life partner. They want to enjoy with God. This is the level of human beings. That is why Swamiji is saying that the standards have fallen so low. We are not at +1, +2, +3. We are at -100. So they are eager. So I'll read that statement again. They do not merely think of leaving one human being as their romantic partner for another human being. That is only a limited variety in their selfish pleasure. They are eager to get the highest variety of selfish pleasure, which is when they leave their human romantic partner for God, because God is completely different from any human being. The omniscient God knows even the deeper, and the deepest feelings of the devotee. God is always the perfect, competent authority to modify the ways of his preaching according to the changing times. So this path of Madhura Bhakti is not suitable for present times because of the fallen standards of humanity. And that is why God has revealed that illusion which made people think that they are on the path of Madhura Bhakti, that they get to romance with God. That illusion is broken. He has clearly, most unambiguously stated that God never romances with any soul. Period. So this illusion is broken, and instead he will reform everyone through the path of his wonderful spiritual knowledge, because he is the Jnana Mohini, the divine knowledge and enchantress. And he is the perfect competent authority to modify his method of preaching and reforming souls. With that, I'll pause and hand over to Suryaji. Pada Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskaram, Swami. So first, I will share the screen. Telugu.
It's not on full screen, sir. Now it's working.
Okay, thank you. We will go through the question answers of March 18, 2026. The first question is by Srimati Lakshmi Lavanya. And the question is, how to get rid of jealousy? In fact, her detailed question is, Namaste Swami, you talked about the evil eye. If I feel that the jealousy is because I am able to live so peacefully because of the miracles happening in my life due to my faith in God, will I still get the result of that evil eye? Many people around me judge me as not being what they like, not being under their control, and everything going wrong in my life. I will accept whatever they say as long as it is in accordance with my Swami's knowledge. No one has the right to judge or control me except Swami. If I have to cry, I told them that I will enjoy that crying. A few days later, to everyone's surprise, orders come from higher officials to reverse the actions they thought they should take on me and made them work in my favor. Their jealousy towards me continues to grow. My colleague, who was friendly with me for 15 years, ended her friendship with me after hearing other people's words. I was sad for 2 days. Then I concluded that whatever you did was the best for me. How to get rid of this jealousy? Swami replied, the evil eye is not based on the power of others. Since you made them suffer by exposing your new clothes, jewels, etc., instead of following a simple way of life, you have become sinful. So, the cause for their suffering is your exposure. Jealousy can be eradicated completely if you think that the merits of others do not belong to those souls, but that they belong to God. Next question is also next question is by Miss Bhanu Samaikya. Just 1 minute. Oh, the short question is: if spiritual knowledge is like the fire that burns ignorance, why did Ravana fail to reform? The detailed question is: Padanamaskaran Swami, you have said that spiritual knowledge is like the fire that burns ignorance. But in one discourse, of course, link is given here, you have said that even though Ravana was a great scholar in the 4 Vedas and the 6 Shastras, and his 10 heads represent these scriptures, he was still ignorant. According to this statement, it seems like spiritual knowledge failed to reform him and did not stop him from becoming a demon. How is this possible, Swami? At your divine lotus feet, Bhanu Samaikya. No, Swami replied, I wonder how you do not understand this simple medical concept, being a doctor, simply eating, this is the simile for Shravanam, simply eating, that is Shravanam, food does not give energy to you. It is the digestion of the eaten food alone that gives energy to the body. Ravana had simply eaten spiritual knowledge but could not digest it. Digestion means continuously remembering, that is mananam, the concepts so that they get printed in the faculty of memory. This printing of concepts in the memory is called nididhyasa. For the digestion of food, the digestive system should be perfect. It means that your mental setup, that is, powerful thoughts acquired from previous births, must be perfectly good. The digestive enzymes must also be proper, which are your present friendly associations, that is Sangha. And the next question is also by her. Why did Swami not accept a female devotee who approached him to solve her issue of unsatisfied sexual desires? And the detailed question is, Swami, based on the recent incident, one of your devotees asked, when the whole purpose of rasa dance done by God Krishna is to attract the females in dushpravrutti towards God so that God can satisfy them using his illusory forms and encourage them towards learning the spiritual knowledge. Why did Swami not welcome a female devotee who wanted to approach the contemporary Krishna to resolve her issue of unsatisfied sexual desires? Why did Swami reply to her harshly? Swami replied, "It is a fake case. Swami is also omniscient, since the omniscient God merged with him. This is a trick played by a close devotee of Swami to test Swami." And her next question, why did Swami reveal now that God Krishna had only created his illusory forms in the romantic rasa dance? The detailed question is, when God Krishna conducted the rasa dance in Vrindavanam for the sake of encouraging lustful devotees in Kali age to divert themselves towards God and learn the spiritual knowledge, the Ardhavada, that is beneficial lie, that God Himself romanced with the devoted souls, must be sustained throughout the Kali age without revealing the truth that God created His illusory forms. This truth definitely discourages devotees from entering into sweet devotion itself. Why did Swami reveal it now? Swami replied, Swami is Jnana Mohini. The beauty of his spiritual knowledge is unimaginable, and he can do the same work with the help of his wonderful spiritual knowledge. The above method has become defective since the standards of the Kali age are on the minus side and not simply low on the positive side. You are correct to say that if the secret of illusory forms is revealed, the above process will be disturbed. If not revealed, Swami will be misunderstood. And this is what happened with God Krishna. In earlier ages, even devotees in Dushpravritti had a lot of patience to wait for the practical response from the other side. This gap time was used by God to preach spiritual knowledge. Today, in this Kali age, Dushpravritti souls have no patience at all. Unless a practical response is given immediately, devotees do not have the patience to listen and digest spiritual knowledge. In the earlier ages, devotees even sacrificed justice for the sake of God, but they did so only when God Himself conducted the test. Now, devotees themselves decide to cross justice to get some selfish pleasure from God. They do not merely think of leaving one human being as their romantic partner for another human being. That's only a limited variety in their selfish pleasure. They are eager to get the highest variety of selfish pleasure, which is when which is when they leave their human romantic partner for God, because God is completely different from any human being. The omniscient God knows even the deeper and the deepest feelings of the devotee. God is always the perfect, competent authority to modify the ways of His preaching according to the changing times. Oh, excellent. So now we'll read some question answers. Yesterday we were going through the this Satsanga about the God, about why God Krishna is called as the real celibate. So the first question uh, is covered half a little bit only. So I will start from the beginning again. This question is by Miss Relokya. Why did God Brahma tell Narada that the only celibate is Krishna only? And the detailed question is, Padanamaskaram Swami, God Krishna married 16,108 women and produced 10 sons plus one daughter through each wife. Why God Brahma told sage Narada that the only celibate, that is Brahmachari, is Krishna only? Swami replied, first of all, I can say that your question is actually the question and its answer. The number of children, that is 1,77,188, itself proves that Krishna is God. God is omnipotent. Omnipotence of God means that any impossible thing is possible to God. He can do all impure works and can remain the purest simultaneously. I will answer this question in different angles also. Krishna is the absolute God, Parabrahman, that is unimaginable God. Since the first energetic incarnation, that is God Datta, containing the unimaginable God, that is unimaginable God or Parabrahman, merged with the first created energetic form called Datta and made Datta as God Datta, the first energetic incarnation. And that God Datta merged with Krishna. Hence, we can treat Krishna as the original, ultimate, unimaginable God. That is Parabrahman who created this world containing inert and non-inert items. Gopikas are the products of his unimaginable creating power called Maya. Maya means that it is not inherently real, but becomes real due to gifted reality from God. Gopikas are the products of Maya and hence are inherently unreal. When the 1,000 gopikas are dancing in a circle, that is Rasakeli in Vrindavanam, the real Krishna is standing at the center singing on his flute. Krishna, the human incarnation, is real because he is merged by the unimaginable God. 1,000 Krishnas appear by the side of the 1,000 gopikas, and each Krishna is dancing with each gopika. These 1,000 Krishnas are also created by the will, that is Maya of God Krishna. Hence, the 1,000 gopikas and these 1,000 Krishnas are the products of his will, that is Maya. Maya is inherently unreal and its product is also inherently unreal. Therefore, the 1,000 unreal gopikas are dancing with the 1,000 unreal Krishnas. These 1,000 Krishnas are not real because God Datta, containing Parabrahman, did not merge with any of these 1,000 forms. These forms are as good as the gopikas. When an unreal form does any action, like even sex, all such actions are unreal only. Therefore, all the actions done by the 1,000 unreal Krishnas with the 1,000 unreal gopikas are unreal actions only in the view of the absolutely real God. Hence, God Krishna did not do any sin in practical action. These unreal Krishnas might have expressed several love feelings along with several loving words to the 1,000 unreal gopikas. These feelings and words might have come from the original God Krishna, like voice dubbing to a role in cinema. Since thoughts or feelings and words belong to theoretical phase, both feelings and words are totally unreal by themselves because theoretical phase is always unreal compared to the practical phase. You may argue that even a feeling and word brings sin. It will not bring any sin because at least for the intensive sweet devotion of the gopikas, that is devotees, the devotional justice, bhakti dharma, is to express the love through at least feelings and words. Even though these feelings and words are from the real Krishna, it is not a sin on the part of the real Krishna because he fulfilled the devotional justice. Moreover, the receiving gopikas are unreal, the speaking Krishnas are unreal, and the theoretical love and words expressed to unreal Krishnas are also unreal. This point will destroy any trace of possibility to bring even a trace of sin on the real Krishna. This means that real Krishna did not do any real sin. Producing so many children by unreal Krishnas through the thousands of his unreal wives come under the phase of unreal Maya only. Even in this creation of God, the unreal male souls are producing unreal children through unreal female souls, making the making the entire non-inert part of the creation also as unreal, just like the inert part of the creation from the angle of absolutely real God. Hence, there is no real practical sin done by God Krishna. Maya is real as causal power or Karana Shakti, and Maya is unreal as effect power or Karya Shakti. As causal power, Maya is the same unimaginable God and is wonderful or unimaginable as per the root meaning Maya Vaichitriye. As effect power, the Maya is the product of the causal power or God and is inherently unreal as per the meaning Yamasa Maya. The causal power gives its absolute reality to the effect power so that the creation, which is the product, becomes real. Otherwise, creation is inherently unreal. Coming to the main aspect of your question, the central real Krishna is standing along with Radha. Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu and Radha is the incarnation of Shiva. Vishnu and Shiva are one and the same God Datta. Since Radha is Shiva and Shiva is Vishnu and Vishnu is Krishna, there is no real dualism between Radha and Krishna. Even Radha is also told as the power of Krishna, Hladini Shakti. Even if you take the case of Rukmini, she is the incarnation of Goddess Lakshmi, who is the power of God Vishnu or Krishna. The case of Radha and Rukmini is one and the same. Here, the possessor of power and power are one and the same. Shakti Mato Ravedaha. In this case, The real Krishna is really enjoying with himself, and hence there is no dualism between real Radha and real Krishna, or real Rukmini and real Krishna, or real Radha and real Rukmini. Since there is no dualism in this type of enjoyment of Radha and Krishna, due to monism between both, you cannot even say that Krishna is a householder, that is Grihasthashrama. Even in this context, due to the ultimate monism, the real Krishna shall be treated as the real celibate. Even in the case of Rama and Sita, the same above argument applies, since Rama is Vishnu and Sita is Lakshmi, who is the power of Vishnu. This also proves that there is no difference between Krishna and Rama. This proves the Vedic statement that God is always one in reality. Ekameva Dvitiyam Brahma. In scriptures, you will find that God is playing with himself. That is Atma Kridaha. And that God is enjoying himself. Atmaratihi. These words denote that when the incarnation is not married, like Vamana, Parashurama, etc., he is enjoying and playing with his own power. When the incarnation is married, like Rama, Krishna, etc., his power, that is, his power means himself as the possessor of the power, becomes personified as Sita in the case of Rama, and Radha and Rukmini in the case of Krishna. This is the secret behind the saying of scholars that Radha and Krishna are one and the same. This type of self-enjoyment should not be misunderstood as the worst beast-like homosexuality. Hence, Goddess Saraswati is the creation power of God Brahma. Goddess Lakshmi is the maintenance power of God Vishnu. Goddess Parvati is the destruction power of God Shiva. Since God Datta is one and the same Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, Goddess Anagha is one and the same Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati. Here, one special point is to be noted that a celibate does not mean unmarried. Similarly, fasting does not mean foregoing food completely on an entire day. Celibate means maintaining sexual life with one legally married wife. The reason is that the devotee producing children is doing the service of God by extending the next human generation for the visit of entertainment of God as human incarnation on this earth. Hence, the Veda and the Gita say that one man shall be married to one woman only and not to many women. Prajatantum ma vyavachestihi. Veda. Next, dharma viruddha kamosmi. Gita. This Vedic rule is confined to the souls only and not to God incarnating on the earth like Shankara, etc. As per the same Veda, na prajaya, kim prajaya, karishyamaha. Similarly, fasting does not mean foregoing food completely on a worship day, because such a fasting will bring a lot of weakness, so that the worship of God cannot be done at all. Overeating is also not fasting, because that gives a lot of drowsiness, due to which worship cannot be done. Fasting means eating little food to avoid weakness and drowsiness. This is exactly told in the Gita. Natyasnatastu yogosti na chaikantaman snataha. Marrying one woman is like eating little food, while not marrying at all is like foregoing food completely, and marrying many women is like overeating. When sage Narada inquired about who is the real celibate in the creation, God Brahma replied that Krishna is the real celibate, because God Brahma knows the secrecy of Krishna. How is this possible? It is possible because Krishna and Vishnu are one and the same, and Vishnu and Brahma are one and the same. Hence, Krishna and Brahma are one and the same. Therefore, the secrecy of self is certainly known to Krishna, which means that it is known to Brahma also. Hence, Brahma could reply this question, opening the secrecy of Krishna, which is, in fact, self secrecy only. If you analyze the meaning of the word brahmachari, that is celibate, the meaning is Brahmani charati iti brahmachari, he who moves in God. Second, gatyardhanam dhatunam jnanardhakatvam. Verbs used in the sense of movement denote the knowledge. This means that he who knows God. Third, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of God is God himself. This means that he who knows God is God himself. Since Krishna is the fullest incarnation of God, Paripurna Tamavatara, Brahmachari or celibate finally means God himself. Like this, the meaning of the statement of God Brahma is that Krishna is God. The word brahmachari or celibate does not mean an unmarried person, but means the real God in real sense. Oh, this completes this excellent reply here. So it's already 6 o'clock. I will stop here. Namaskaram, Swami.
స్వామి పాదపద్మాలకు నమస్కారం స్వామి. అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు ఇక సతి లేదని అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడి తాండవమాడెను శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. త్రిపథగామిని శిరసు గంగయు మూడు నేత్రమూల శ్రుధారలు చిందించుచుండా చిందులేసెను హృదయ తాపము నోర్వగలేక అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. శాంతి దేవరా శాంతి దేవరా అనుచునందియో ప్రమధులు చెప్ప ఆలకించడు ఆదిదేవుడు. అలమటించుచు అరచి ఏడ్చెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. అంగములన్నీ ఎదురుచుండగా కైలాసమున కాలకంఠుడు ఏది నా సతి అనుచు అందరినడిగి ఎగిరి ఏడ్చెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. రాక్షసులైన అడిగిన వెంట నిచ్చెవరముల కరుణార్ణవుడు సతి నిమ్మనుచు యాచించునదే కింకరుల నట నాట్యమాడుచు అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. నా నింద విని ప్రాణము విడచే కలరే ఎట్టి భక్తులు జగతి. నా ప్రాణములు పోవవేలను అని విలపించే తాండవమందున అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. తూలును ఎగురు మెలికలు దిరుగు గంతులు వేయు చేతులు ద్రిప్పు హాహాయనుచు హాలాహలమే మింగిన వాడే విలవిలలాడే అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. వర్తమానము భావిభూతము కాలమునందు నిట్టి ప్రేయసి ఉండబోదని ఘోషించెనట వేదనాగ్నికి వేగిపోయెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. ప్రళయమందున సర్వదహనుడు ఫాలనేత్రుడే వలవల ఏడ్చే సతీ విరహము తాపమునందు తాళజాళక తాండవించెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. నా నిందకే దహనమైతివి నేనింకను బ్రతికియుంటిని నన్ను మించిన కఠినుడుండునే అనుచు శంకరుడరచియాడెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. పింగళ జటల వివిదలించునదే విపరీతముగా గంగ చిందగా సతీ దహనమును హించగా వక్కలై తల పడుట తోచెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. నా సతియనుచు కౌగలించును శూన్యమందున సతి భావమున కంపము తోడ నృత్యము చేసే మంటలబడిన నాగుపాముగా అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. భక్తులపైన భగవత్ ప్రేమ అపారమగును అందున సతియు భక్తరత్నము స్వామి హృదయము తల్లడిల్లెను కల్లోలమై అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మ శివుడు. ఉమగా సతియే అవతరించుయు మరల చేరిన గాని ముఖమున మందహాసము పుట్టలేదుగా శివునికప్పుడే శాంతి వచ్చెను అల్లాడెనమ్మ అల్లాడెనమ్మా శివుడు, ఇక సతి లేదని అల్లాడెనమ్మా శివుడు, అల్లాడే తాండవమాడెను శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మా శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మా శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మా శివుడు, అల్లాడెనమ్మా శివుడు.
ధన్యవాదాలు స్వామి.
నమస్తే.
తత్సవితుస్తా దేవతాయాః వరేణ్య భర్గో ధీమహి ప్రచోదయేద్వై ధియో యో నః తం బ్రహ్మాణం జ్ఞానసూర్యం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. ప్రాణే ప్రసవాత్ యః ప్రసిద్ధః సవితేత్యస్య బ్రహ్మతేజః. శిష్యధియశ్చ ప్రేరయేన్నః తం గాయత్రీ మంత్రసారం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. గాయత్రీయం ఛంద ఏవ సవితా దేవః స్మర్యతే చ. శిష్యాంధకార ముకుళితాబ్జా దీవికాసదం గురువరేణ్యం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. కర్తా భర్తా హ్యేషహర్తా సర్వస్యాస్య శ్రూయతే హి. త్రిమూర్తిరూపం బ్రహ్మచైకం బ్రహ్మాకారం బ్రహ్మవాచం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. త్రిపదం ఛందః త్రిస్వరోక్తం త్రికాలవంద్యం త్రిగుణసూత్రం. త్రివాహినీనాం సంగమం వా త్రిమూర్తితత్వం యం యనక్తి. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. ఓంకారశ్చ త్రివిధ వర్ణః త్రిస్రో వ్యాహృత యోపి యం హి. సంబోధయంతి సర్వమంత్రో యమేవ వక్తి త్రిగుణమేకం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. చత్వారోయం వేదశునకాః గౌరనుసరతి చ వేదధర్మః. వీణాశ్రవణం వాణీపతిం షోడశవర్షం బ్రహ్మదేవం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. జగదారంభం హంసవాహం తేజోవదనం మంత్రమూలం. గాయత్రీశం సామగానం విద్యానిలయం వేదపాఠం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. యజ్ఞాచరణం హోమనిష్టం కమండలుధరం దర్భపాణిం. అగ్నిజ్వాలా భాసమానం ప్రాతః సంధ్యా బాలభానుం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం. చందన తిలకే కుంకుమాంకం బ్రహ్మతేజసా దీప్యమానం. జగన్మోహన సుందరాంగం ఆశాయధరం పండితేశం. భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం
అత్రేః పుత్రం బ్రహ్మదత్తం అనసూయాంబా ప్రేమరాశిం అజనమేఖలం బ్రహ్మదండం యజ్ఞోపవీత మక్షమాలం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
స్వతనోరోజ్యత్ కమలగంధైః త్రిభువనాని హ్లాదయంతం బ్రహ్మముహూర్తే సాధకానాం ప్రచోదయేత్తా ధియో యో నః భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
సృష్టిక్రమవద పురుష సూక్తం త్రిస్వరబద్ధం పావనార్థం ఋషిభిః పఠితం బ్రహ్మకాలే శ్రుత్వా శ్రుత్వా ప్రీయమాణం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
త్రిమతాచార్యై పఠ్యమానాన్ తత్తన్మతమయ భాష్యవాదాన్ శ్రుత్వా సిద్ధాంతార్థమంత్యం సమన్వయమతం వాచయంతం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
వేదాంతానామాంతిమార్థం వేదాంతార్థం బోధయంతం ఋషిభిః పరితో భాషమాణం శాస్త్రార్థేషు వ్యంజితేషు భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
ఆయుధవర్జిత పాణిపద్మం వాచైవారిం మారయంతం కర్మఫలాని లలాటపత్రే లిఖంతమాయో దాయదానం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
ఆచార్యేంద్రం వాక్ప్రచారం భువి సంచారం నిర్విచారం కళాభిచారం సదాచారం సురపరిచారం చిత్తచోరం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
పద్మసంభవం పద్మపీఠం పద్మసుగంధం పద్మవర్ణం పద్మాపుత్రం పద్మనేత్రం పద్మసుపాణిం పద్మపాదం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
వీణాపాణిః యస్య శిష్యా వాణీ గాయతి జ్ఞానదేవి తం వాగీశం సామవాచ చరశోణాధర మంత్రపాఠం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
యత్సంకల్పః కేవలం హి సర్వం విశ్వం రచితమేవం ఆద్యం దేవం ప్రథమమూర్తిం ఆరాధనీయా మజమనాదిం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
లలాటరేఖాం కర్మబద్ధాం పరిమార్ష్టుం యః కేవలో హి సర్వసమర్థో లేఖకోయం ధాతారం తం మూలమూలం భజ భజ దత్తం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
చతురాంనాయాం చతురవాచ చతురాస్యాబ్జై రుద్గిరంతం కవిం కవీనాం ఆదికావ్యం సర్వజగదిదం విరచయంతం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం
పరమ బ్రహ్మ బ్రహ్మ శబ్దో యస్మిన్నేవ ప్రకృతి హేతౌ పూజాతీతం పరమ పూజ్యం దివసారంభే పూజనీయం
భజ భజ దత్తం భజ భజ దత్తం भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं
गायत्री आद्या यस्य भार्याः त्रिशक्तयस्ताः त्रिमुखपद्मम् देवपितॄणां पितरमेव पितामहाख्यं ब्रह्मरूपं भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं श्रीदत्त ब्रह्म गायत्रीं योगायेत् ब्रह्मकालिकीं सब्रह्म तेजसा दीप्तो ज्ञानी ब्रह्मत्वमश्नुते शतायुर्दायमाप्नोति सर्वविद्याः प्रपद्यते सत्पुत्रं लभते होमात् ऐश्वर्यं ब्रह्मवीक्षितः भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं भज भज दत्तं वेंकटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेंकटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् ऊर्ध्वपुण्ड्रविलक्षणाङ्कित फालदेशसमुज्ज्वलं सप्तशैलविभूषणं नव नीलमेघसमप्रभं वामपार्श्वविलम्बिमौक्तिक दामचारुकिरीटिनं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् अंसयोरुपरिस्फुरद्युति शङ्खचक्रसुलक्षितं चक्रवाकसमाकृतिस्फुट कर्णभूषणशोभितं स्वर्णवर्णधगद्धगद्युति नूतनाम्बरविभ्रमं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् चित्रपुष्पसरोल्लसत्तुलसीदळात्मकमालिकं वज्रमौक्तिकधामसंभृत चित्रचित्रविभूषणं शोणपद्मविशेषहार परिष्कृतामलकन्धरं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् शूतपल्लवकोमलाधर नर्तितस्मितसुन्दरं चन्दनाङ्कसमुल्लसच्युबुकान्तकान्तिविलक्षणम् उल्लसत्तिलपुष्पसंमित चरुनासमनोहरं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् धौतदीधितिमीनयुग्म कलालसत्तललोचनं कामचापयुगभ्रुवोरति सुन्दराकृतिभासुरं वामपाणिविलोलसौरभ वर्षिकोमलवारिजं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् दक्षिणादिगुणालयं शुभ सर्वसद्गुणसागरं पापकूपनिमग्नजीव समुद्धरं धरणीधवम् अङ्गुलीयकवज्रदीधिति पाणिनाभयदायकं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम् उज्ज्वलाङ्गसुदर्शनाभिध चक्रखण्डितराक्षसं सर्वमङ्गलदेवता रमयालसद्गुरुवक्षसं शङ्खचक्रगदाशिशार्ङ्ग समाख्य पञ्चसमायुधं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः। वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां। वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम्। यः पठेदिदमद्भुतं स्तव मुत्तमोत्तममागमं सर्वकष्टविमुक्तिमेति सकृत्सुखं लभते नरः। क्षीरसागरशायिनं परमाप्नुयात् परपूरुषं वेङ्कटेश्वरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै कलिः। वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 पाहि मां। वेङ्कटेश्वर 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 रक्ष माम्। ॐ शङ्कराय ते लोकशङ्कराय ते वन्दनानि मे देववासुदेवस्य। शङ्कराय ते लोकशङ्कराय ते वन्दनानि मे देववासुदेवस्य। फाललोचनं तव हि मे सुदर्शनं शूलमेव ते तिलकमोत्फपुण्ड्रकम् नीलकण्ठते भाति कण्ठनीलिम विस्तरान्महो मम हि देहनीलिम। शङ्कराय ते लोकशङ्कराय ते वन्दनानि मे देववासुदेवस्य। फालचक्षुषा दग्धपद्मसायकं सादराक्षिणा दृष्टपद्मसम्भवं प्रेमवीक्षणा लोलपद्मलोचनं त्वां त्रिलोचनं देवसंस्मराम्यहं। शङ्कराय ते लोकशङ्कराय ते वन्दनानि मे देववासुदेवस्य। नटनपण्डिता स्फुरति रम्यताण्डवं चित्रमण्डलं भ्रमणलोलकुण्डलं पुरगमण्डन स्खलितधर्मदण्डनं धनुजखण्डनं विजितभारतीभण्डनम्। शङ्कराय ते लोकशङ्कराय ते वन्दनानि मे देववासुदेवस्य। शङ्कराय ते लोकशङ्कराय ते वन्दनानि मे देववासुदेवस्य। అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. మానవ జన్మమునెత్తినందులకు సార్థకమయ్యను వెంకన్న, నీపై పాటల వ్రాసితినందురు వ్రాసిన వాడవు నీవన్న. పద్మగ నీవే పుట్టితివిచ్చట తీయగ పాడితివోరన్నా, పద్మారమణ ఆనందముతో కీర్తినిచ్చితివి నాకన్నా. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. మేడలు రూకలు బంధములేవియు నా వెంట రావు నిజమన్నా, ఈ పాటల నడి దివ్య సంపదయ మము రక్షించును కొండన్నా. నరజన్మమునిటు నీ గానమునిటు దయసేయుమెప్పుడు దత్తన్నా, ఇంతకన్న వరమేదియు అడుగను కాదనబోకుము హరి అన్నా. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. స్వర్గాధిపతియు వీటిని వినగా పరిగెత్తుచుండు ఓరన్నా, వీటిని పాడెడి నారదుడయ్యను త్రిభువన పూజ్యుడు ఓ కన్నా. గీతామృతమును త్రాగిన వారికి బ్రహ్మానందము చాలన్నా, యమకింకరులను పొమ్మని ఒత్తురు విష్ణుదూతలు చివరోయన్నా. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. నీ పాటపు వినగా బాష్పలోచనములొప్పగ విందురు వారన్నా, భక్తి లేక వృథ పూజలు జపములు ప్రేమయ మార్గము హరి అన్నా. అహంకారమున పాపాత్ముడనై పతితుడనై తిని వెంకన్న, పండిత వేషము పామరాధముడ ఉద్ధరించుమిక దత్తన్న. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. వేదశాస్త్రములు చదివి తినేనని గర్వమెక్కెనిల నాకన్నా, పద్మను గురువుగా చూపితి విచ్చట భక్తి మార్గమున హరి అన్నా. జ్ఞానమే దీపము భక్తియ మార్గము నీదయ నడవగ ఊపన్నా, దీపహీనుడును మార్గమునందున లక్ష్యము చేరును వెంకన్న. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి. నీ అందాలను పొందుపరచిన పాటల విందులు చాలన్నా, ఆకలి దప్పిక నిద్రయులేవిట అమరుడనైతిని వెంకన్న. అన్నమయ్య ఇటు పద్మయు అన్న చెల్లెళ్ళకివియే నతులన్నా, నీకర ఖడ్గము నీకర పద్మము వారిరువురు గద వెంకన్న. అదిగో శేషాద్రి మందిరమదిగో చూడండి, అరవిందాక్షుడు పద్మాలోలుడు అతడేనండి.
నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో శ్రీ దత్తస్వామి వారు రచించిన తెలుగు జానపద గీతం. ఈరోజు శ్రీ దత్తస్వామి వారు తెల్లవారుజామున 3 గంటలకు నాకు ఫోన్ చేసి ఈ గీతాన్ని వినిపించినారు. నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా, నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా, 3 ముఖాల 6 చేతుల అందమైన అల్లరోడా, 3 ముఖాల 6 చేతుల అందమైన అల్లరోడా, నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా. కాషాయం గుడ్డ కట్టినోడా బంగారు రంగు మెరుపులోడా, కాషాయం గుడ్డ కట్టినోడా బంగారు రంగు మెరుపులోడా, నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా, నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా వేదశాస్త్ర సారమంతా చిందులేసే మాటలోడా వేదశాస్త్ర సారమంతా చిందులేసే మాటలోడా నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా నిన్నే తలుస్తం దత్తుడో కమలాల వంటి కన్నులోడా. English translation follows. This song is the English translation of the Telugu folk song Ninne Talustam Dattudo, composed by His Holiness Shri Datta Swami. Today at 3 a.m. in the early morning, Shri Datta Swami ji phoned to me and sang this song. English translation is also done by Shri Datta Swami ji, who sang it after singing in Telugu. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed. With 3 faces and 6 hands, beautiful and mischievous. With 3 faces and 6 hands, beautiful and mischievous. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed. Wearing the orange robe with golden body lightenings. Wearing the orange robe with golden body lightenings. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed. All essence of Vedic scriptures dances in your words. All essence of Vedic scriptures dances in your words. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed. We think you only, O Datta, lotus-eyed.
धरती पर भक्तों के तुम हो उद्धारक, भक्तों के कष्टों के तुम हो निवारक, जीवों के भरता तुम ही हो मेरे पालक, जगत गढ़ हो गए और तुम जग संचालक।
गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्ता, त्रिमूर्ति अवतार
प्रभु दत्तात्रेय मूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी। यथाशक्ति यथा भक्ति चरण आरंभे कर्म संन्यास कर प्रेम निर्धारे कर्म फल त्याग कर भक्ति प्रमाणे दोनों करे सो कर्मयोगी हो साबित। गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्तात्रेय मूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी। अमृत वचन स्वामी का नैया है पारे सुन ले मन तू हो जा स्वामी का प्यारे। स्वामी बिन है पैर पंगुम हमारे स्वामी भजन हरे पीड़ा हमारी। गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्तात्रेय मूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी। तुम रहो दाता सदा मैं रहूं सदा याचक तुम रहो सदा मालिक और मैं रहूं सदा सेवक। काहू को डरना जब तुम हो मेरे रक्षक तुम्हारी सेवा में ही जीवन मेरा सार्थक। गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्तात्रेय मूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी। मनमोहक अति सुंदर अत्यंत प्यारी आनंदाई स्वामी छवि तुम्हारी दर्शन मात्रे तृप्त आत्मा हमारी दृष्टि स्वामी की है चमत्कारी। गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्तात्रेय मूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी। परिपूर्णतम साक्षात् परब्रह्म स्वामी वेदों से परे वेद सार है स्वामी। अनूह्य अवतारी अचिंत्य स्वामी मनुष्य अवतारी परब्रह्म स्वामी। गुरु दत्ता श्री दत्ता जय जय प्रभु दत्तात्रेय मूर्त्यवतारी साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री दत्ता स्वामी। कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रिये वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृति स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् भक्त्यानन्या श्री दत्त स्वामिने समर्पयामि श्री दत्त स्वामिने समर्पयामि श्री दत्त स्वामिने समर्पयामि।
उद्वेगरहिता संतोषरहिता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता शांति समुद्रा श्री दत्ता। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्कार स्वामी।
नमस्कार
स्वामी।
नमस्ते 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 नमस्ते
स्वामी
नमस्ते
पादपद्माలకు నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्कारं स्वामी। नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्कारं
नमस्ते
स्वामी।
नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते
స్వామి।
नमस्ते नमस्ते
स्वामी।
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी जी।
नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి।
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते नमस्ते
నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం
नमस्ते
స్వామి। పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी जी।
नमस्ते 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 नमस्ते।
Is anyone left to offer pranams to Swami?
नमस्कारं स्वामी जी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते
पाद नमस्कारं स्वामी।
नमस्ते
పాద నమస్కారం స్వామి।
नमस्ते